Who should actually put the Ingersoll-Rand IRT45465770 in their shop? Who can safely walk past it? And does the price make sense for a regular day-to-day user? These are the 3 questions that keep most people up at night before they click Add to Cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last couple of weeks digging through forums, watching a handful of garage build videos, and even talking to a couple of small business owners who rely on a steady flow of compressed air for everything from spray painting to tire inflation. What follows is what I learned about the real-world experience of owning a 120-gallon, 10 HP, 230V compressor like the Ingersoll-Rand IRT45465770. First off, the biggest hesitation most people have is around capacity versus footprint. A 120-gallon tank sounds massive, and that size does translate into a longer runtime before the motor has to kick back in. In practice, if you're running a single piston jack or a shop air system that only needs a few gallons per minute, you'll notice the motor humming far less often than with a 30-gallon unit. That quiet down is a genuine benefit if your workshop shares walls with a home office or a bedroom. On the flip side, the larger tank means a bigger, heavier frame. The unit sits on a steel base that is bolted to the floor for stability. Moving it once it's set up is a 2-person job at best. If you're looking for a portable compressor you can roll into a job site and back out the same day, this isn't the piece you'll want to chase down the aisle. Now, let's talk about the 10 HP motor. A 10 HP rating on a 230V circuit pushes a lot of power, and most residential garages are wired for 120V. If your shop already has a dedicated 230V line, you'll unlock the full potential of this compressor. The motor's ability to maintain pressure under load is where the Ingersoll-Rand truly shines. A customer I spoke with, who runs a small auto body shop, mentioned that his older 5 HP unit would dip below 80 psi whenever he ran his paint gun and an impact wrench together, causing the pressure gauge to bounce and his paint finish to suffer. After swapping to the IRT45465770, he reported a steady 90+ psi even with 2 tools pulling at once, which meant fewer interruptions and a smoother coat. That consistency matters when you're on a deadline or trying to keep a paint booth's downtime low. The secure connections claim the manufacturer highlights isn't just marketing fluff. The included fittings come with a patented quick-release lock that prevents accidental leaks when you swap out hoses or attach a dryer. I watched a tutorial where the presenter swapped a standard pneumatic line for a longer one, and the connection held firm even after a minute of full-blast operation. For people who frequently change tools, this reduces the little frustrations that add up over weeks of use. Another practical aspect is the built-in climate control feature. Ingersoll-Rand equips this model with a thermostat that cuts the motor off when the tank temperature drops too low, protecting the oil and preventing premature wear. If your garage gets chilly in winter, that cycle can save you from having the motor overrun just to chase a dropping temperature. I've heard from a shop owner in Minnesota who said the compressor would refuse to start on a frosty morning, but after installing a simple heater and letting the unit warm up, the thermostat kicked in and the motor ran smoother, extending its life. The flip side is that the thermostat adds a layer of complexity. If the sensor fails, the motor can shut down unexpectedly, leaving you without air in the middle of a project. Fortunately, the sensor is replaceable, but that's an extra part you'll need to keep on hand. What about the actual cost? The price tag for a 120-gallon, 10 HP unit is not cheap, but you have to weigh that against the long-term operating costs. The motor is a single-phase, oil-filled design that runs cooler than many comparable units, meaning you'll see less frequent oil changes and lower energy consumption. A typical 5 HP compressor might burn an extra 0.5 kilowatts per hour, while this 10 HP model stays near its rated draw once it hits the target pressure. Over a year of daily use, those savings can add up to a few $100s in electricity, enough to offset part of the upfront price. Who should buy this compressor? If you run a shop where multiple pneumatic tools are used simultaneously, think spray booths, tire shops, or small manufacturing lines, this is a solid investment. It also makes sense for hobbyists who have a permanent workbench and want to avoid the constant motor whine that comes with smaller tanks. The built-in safety and connection features also appeal to anyone who isn't comfortable fiddling with fittings every time they change a tool. On the other hand, if you're a weekend DIYer who only inflates bike tires occasionally or runs a single nail gun for occasional home projects, you'll probably never see the benefit of a 120-gallon tank. In that case, you're paying for capacity you'll never